Hello, fellow Tarnished, and welcome to the first ever PvP Training Camp podcast. In today's episode, I am very happy to receive the king of Bloodborne PvP, I name Scorched Knight. Scorched Knight is a man that found out very early on that Bloodborne PvP was just his favorite style of playing the action RPG formula offered by From Software. And he just stuck with it since the release of Bloodborne back in 2015, and I found that it was so beautiful that he stuck with the game and how he loved the game, and he was hosting tournament and really being like a motor that was directing the whole PvP's born category into one direction, organizing tournament, making still videos about the game. And yeah, that really intrigued me, and I wanted to interview him and ask him many questions. I hope you guys are going to have as much of a great time as listening to this podcast as I had talking with Scorch. It was really a pleasure. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me today, Scorch. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Very good. It's about midnight
Awesome.
for me in France. I live in France, and you're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York. It's 5:57 for me, p.m.
Okay. Is it like super cold? Okay, I've been to New York in winter. It's like super dry and cold.
It was like, I think it was like -4 this morning.
Oh, fuck me.
Fahrenheit. American,
American Matrix.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was very cold this morning. Yes.
All right. So basically, the reason how I'm just gonna introduce how I first heard about you, and then you can like complete the information. Basically, I've been wanting to binge every Souls game since Elden Ring is coming out in about a month. And I've been wanting, to play again. For example, I played Demon Souls. I never played it before. Go back to Sekiro, go back to Bloodborne. And I remember I had a ton of fun playing Bloodborne PvP. And I've never really been too hardcore into it for various reasons. We can talk about it later. And I actually lost all of my build I did. So I did farm some gems in Chalice Dungeon for a moonlight build, and for a blood tinge / skill build, and I lost everything, and I just had to redo everything, and I forgot what was my stats. And then I was asking for various people on various YouTube video, because it's actually pretty hard to find good information on Bloodborne PvP. It's a very niche things. There is the long video by Degit GM, I think that's his name. And then there is very scarce information here and there, and your name came a lot. Your name came back a lot, whether it's on Twitter, whether it was on YouTube comment section. People say, okay, just ask Scorched Knight, because I didn't know what the meta level was. Was it 150, 120 or whatever? And your name came, and then I found out your YouTube channel and your Twitter, and then I thought that I saw that there was like a huge, not necessarily a huge, but some people very involved with Bloodborne PvP, and that you were a leader of them. You were hosting tournaments, and I was just fascinating. And you made also a best build of Bloodborne PvP for 2021. They got like a lot of views, like 25,000. And so my question is, could you introduce yourself and a bit of your history as a gamer also?
Yeah, sure. I'm Scorched Knight. My real name's Evan. So it's pretty interesting how I ended up getting into these type of games, because initially I mostly played like single player games, like RPGs, like like Fallout, Skyrim, those kind of things. And I did play, the only multiplayer games I really played were like first person shooters. And
like which one? Which first person? Halo mostly.
Specifically, yeah. I played those for a long time, and then as time went on, they, that's a whole nother subject. But those games lost their way for quite a while. Like they became, I don't know, like a lot of FPSs just kind of felt like the same, So.
And you were on Xbox, so if you were playing Halo.
Yeah. I was on Xbox. I didn't have a PlayStation. Yeah. But what got me into eventually, I got bored of those games, so I started playing RPG games and stuff like that again. And I remember seeing my brother was actually interested in like Bloodborne. Like he's like, "Oh wow, this looks really good." Like, you know, he showed me the trailer for it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that looks." I kind of was like indifferent to it. It's kind of funny, looking back. Like I was like, "Oh yeah, that looks cool."
Whatever.
And then, yeah, and then eventually, I ended up hearing they had like Lovecraftian, like, you know, influences and stuff in it. I like, you know, I like cosmic horror, and I like that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, that's interesting, and oh, it has, you know, it has some of these things I like. So I'm like, and he had a PS4, so I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I tried it, and I was like, oh my god, I love this. This is so good. And it hooked me pretty good.
Like, which aspect of Bloodborne specifically hooked you, you would say? Was it like the story, the atmosphere?
It's a little bit of everything. Like, it kind of it's like once I tried it, I was like, oh my god, there's so many things I like the Bram Stoker and Lovecraftian like influences, and the Victorian setting, and then, you know, and then when I played it, the combat, I was like, oh my god, this combat is so fun. Like, this is really good.
And it was all PvE when you started the game, right? Did you even know there was PvP?
Vaguely, but I was playing offline at first, so like, you know, like it wasn't like the PlayStation wasn't hooked up to any, like, you know, wasn't hooked up to the internet at all. So that came later on, but yeah, I played it and got really into it, beat it a couple times, and then I found out it had online. I was like, oh, that's cool.
So after beating the game a few times, you realize, oh, there's like co-op and there is
it's like system. I think twice. Yeah, I think I beat it like twice, and then it was like, oh, yeah. So, and then I ended up trying co-op, and it's funny. My first co-op experience was actually a PvP experience.
Do you remember how it went? Like, do you remember where it was? What happened?
Yeah, I remember the whole thing. Dude, I may actually use my first PlayStation friend, because I friended him immediately after that. I thought it was so cool, because it's like, I was like, what the hell? There's like PvP. So I remember I summoned, like, I just rang for random help, and I got a purple phantom.
Oh,
which,
yeah,
you know, those are not friendly, and he could tell I didn't realize what was going on, I guess, because he didn't like just attack me or anything. And we were walking, then he, you know, showed me like, yo, I'm not friendly, you know, he kind of like slapped me or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Did you win? Did you win your first fight?
I actually did, yeah.
What did you?
I know. Just barely, though. I just barely won it, like, but it was funny. And then he messaged me, and he was like, yeah, it's like, I wanted to help you, but kind of couldn't, because, you know, we had like opposing faction runes on, so. And I just thought that was so cool. And then after that, I was interested in like the PvP and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that was fun. I want to try that again, you know. So. And
did you play Bloodborne when it came out? 2014, I think it was. Was it 2014?
Yeah, 15. 2015. I did play it, but like, I didn't like the online part of it. Like, when I actually like tried the online, that was probably like halfway through 2015. So I didn't like for the first half of 2015. Maybe it was a little under half of 2015 that I started trying the multiplayer, but. Yeah, I did play it in 2015, just not on release. Like, it was, well, no, it was pretty close to release when I played it in 2015, but it was all mostly like offline until like the latter half of 2015.
And so I guess the next question would be like, from a FPS, going from a FPS quote-unquote background of multiplayer games to a Souls game, there is like a gap, you know, there is no aiming skills involved, or very few. It's more like how to say, you know, we were in PvP fights in the Souls series. There's a lot of spacing involved, reading your opponent, stuff like that. So what really do you have an idea of what triggered you and what made you stay into trying to get better at Bloodborne PvP? Because I've from what I've heard, I was not around when the game came out, Bloodborne. Actually, I was not much around for gaming in general because I was very busy doing my parkour training and stuff like that. But from what I've heard, mainly from PvP skills, I think you know this channel. By the way, do you know that the channel disappeared? It doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, it got stolen basically, from what I understand. Yeah.
Okay. I thought he decided to.
Like they're holding it. No, they're like holding. They were like holding the channel ransom or something like that. Like
That's fucked up.
it's like, yeah. So like, yeah.
But coming back,
it is pretty messed up.
Coming back on the topic, it was that people were very they were complaining a lot about the Evelyn and the skill build and getting parry reposted one shot and stuff like that. But from what I've seen, that didn't stop you, you know. So did you find ways around it? Were you not feeling that that was a big issue? I know people were criticizing also the very complicated mechanic around being able to co-op or to PvP. So how did you went across those obstacles, and was that ever an issue for you?
I mean, at first I just played, for fun, really didn't think about any of that. I never considered any of that at first because, I was just some random noob, you know what I mean, at that time. Like, I was just somebody playing it, you know what I mean? And then, over time, when you start getting better, you start seeing like flaws and stuff. And a lot of my opinions from back then have changed greatly, So like I ended up interacting with some people at PvP back then that, I thought I agreed with them at the time. Well, actually, no, I did agree with them at the time. So I thought, I don't know, it was also just different time back then because a lot of people did no heal fights.
Okay.
For Bloodborne PvP
yeah, now healing is a
changed
thing.
Over yeah. So that changed over time, but so I was that way back then, right? And I thought, this is kind of, over time, I'm like, oh, that's kind of bullshit. Oh, that's, I was like those people complaining about all those things, right? And over time, as I got better, and then I started doing heal fights. I'm like, why have I been doing no heal fights this whole time? Like, there's a whole mechanic around heal parrying people, like punishing their heals. Which is, by the way, something that's Bloodborne. That was like the one PvP mechanic Bloodborne has that is like,
you can punish people.
Well, it's like that one mechanic is something that should return one day because that was a brilliant mechanic. Because none of the other games have that mechanic where you can just, parry or heal like that,
So why is it a brilliant implementation? Can you a bit expand on that compared to other Souls game, for example?
I mean, that's a big part of the depth around the PvP for Bloodborne would be like, avoiding getting heal parried, being good at heal parrying other people. Because if you can't heal parry in Bloodborne, that's a pretty big issue. Like, the other person is going to have a massive advantage if your ability to heal parry is not very good.
Because if
it's just how the game was meant to be played. Like, they wouldn't implement a mechanic all around heal punishing, you know what I mean? If it's not like what they were, it's like, if you think about it this way, you can heal parry PvE NPCs, right? But how often do those NPCs heal? And how often do you fight those NPCs? Most of those NPCs you run into heal one time. So many times, on people's playthrough, there's probably a ton of people that never heal parried once. Like, they played the game, beat it, and they never heal parried anything. In PvP, that's like, you'll see a lot of heal parries in PvP.
But
that's the core mechanic almost of like the PvP.
Like, that's how what's his name? I was about to say Murat, but that's not his name. the latest winner of the tournament, the North American tournament, that's how he won his last fight. You know, he parried someone and then he reposted, and that's it. Was it a heel parry? I'm not sure.
I believe it was. I'd actually have to look. That was a long day. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely quite a few heel parries in that tournament. So, in the one I hosted, and well, in any of the ones I've hosted, like anybody who watches those will see quite a few heel parries. There's ways to avoid getting heel parried and stuff, of course. Like that's part of the game is avoiding getting heel parried and heel parrying others. I mean, that's not the end all be all, but it's a big part of the PvP. Like if your heals are bad, if your heals are sloppy, you know, and that could be your death. Also. Yeah, if your heals are if your heals are lazy and predictable, I mean that could be your death. Like in that game, like that could be it. Like you messed up that heal, you're dead. So it's a really important part of Bloodborne's PvP. You know, and by doing no heal fights, I realized that was getting rid of like a big part of the game's PvP.
Yeah, especially since you do so much damage with Bloodborne PvP.
That's the other thing, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too. Yes, the damage is higher in Bloodborne. I think people exaggerate a little bit about the whole. I mean, you can get 2-shot on a proper build, but that's not you can get 2 or 3 shot even on a proper build, but that's like certain situations. Like it's not. Like people think that's all that happens. I mean, it really depends. Like what weapon you're talking about and what attack you got hit with. Did you get roll caught? Did you get hit with an open hit? There's a lot of factors in that, but that's also another thing. Reason why I stopped doing those fights over time was I realized that no heal fights just allow for more cheese builds. You know, like. Yeah. What are you gonna do against somebody with an Evelyn, or somebody that decides to troll with and I've done this before later on, like I would 99 vit slow poison wheel. So you just poison them and just walk away. You know what I mean?
No
heal. I mean, yeah, they
Bye-bye.
can use an antidote, but you can just dash R1 them again and poison them again because like one dash R1 will poison. So it just encourages a lot more cheese setups. I don't know. To me, it's just I realized that was not a good thing.
Was it like a discussion that made you realize that, or was it like playing the game and starting to realize it by yourself?
Well, I met people that disagreed with me, about no heals.
Of course, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, well, back then there was a lot of people that did no heals, and there was a decent amount of people doing heal fights, but there's a lot more people doing no heals, but the more I played, the more I realized how that's not what Bloodborne PvP is. Like, this isn't Dark Souls, you know, it's a different game.
Yeah, that no heal culture carried from Dark Souls, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff, even big content creators were saying back then, they're like, oh, this is as bad as Demon Souls grass. I don't recall being able to parry Demon Souls grass, though. You know what I mean? It's not the same. This is the most punishable heals in the series. It's a lot different. But, yeah, I mean, over time I realized that was not the way. And, I don't know, just complaining about things that might be unbalanced is kind of
pointless.
It's better to embrace some of those things.
Exactly.
Sometimes. Yeah. It's okay to acknowledge that they're bad, which I do. I'm yeah, the saw spear is disgusting. It's a broken weapon, but sometimes it's the right call. You know what I mean?
Yep, of course.
It's okay. Instead of just. It's better to know how to try hard than not to, I guess.
Yes, yep, I agree with you.
That's my opinion. I mean, there's some people that don't agree with that, but that's to me that. And then I saw another factor of what made me change from that too was I saw how people played in the other games. You know, I'd watch streams and I'd see what they did in DS1, and I had some DS1 friends as well over time, and saw what they did in DS3. And I'm like, why are we not doing this? You know what I mean? There was some people doing it in Bloodborne, but it wasn't like a ton of. I don't know. I'm like, why am I not doing this? Let me put it that way. It's more of like, why am I not doing this as well? You know,
It's like you had your own shackles, like your own mental barrier that prevented you from.
Yeah, it's like instead of like just being like, oh, that's cheap. Like, why not learn how to counter that thing or use it myself? You know what I mean? If somebody's doing it, do it back. You know, like it's all right not to want to play like that all the time. That's fine, but I think it's good to know how to. You know. So
Yep.
yeah, that eventually that made me change how I went about things. Just when I saw I was kind of holding myself back. That's probably the best way to put it. I saw that doing things that way was making me a worse player, and I decided like, yeah, we're gonna change that.
Man, that's probably the best thing to do. That's like a whole concept from, I don't know if you heard about the book called Playing to Win, and the scrub mentality thing, where the idea is that a scrub is a player that puts a limitation on himself that he self-imposed, which will prevent him in the long term to truly becoming quote unquote good at the game. And
exactly, yeah.
That there's a whole like idea behind that. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so moving on to, I think we can jump on to the next question. Is that what happened in 2016? We have Dark Souls 3 that comes out. Did you? I mean, I'm sure you did play it. Did you ever went hard into the PvP? Did you saw it very quickly and were a bit disgusted by it, and then you moved back to Bloodborne? Because up until this day, you're still maining Bloodborne. Like that's your main game on your channel. There is nothing else except a few Elden Ring clips than Bloodborne.
Right.
Like what happened when other games came out? For just before your answer, for example, my experience was that I played Dark Souls 3 because that's when I went into gaming in 2016. Basically, I had a bad breakup, then I fell into a big video gaming addiction. I went into Dark Souls 3, and then I tried For Honor and Destiny 2, and I've been kind of being on and off between Dark Souls 3 and Destiny 2. But what about you? Like when Dark Souls 3 came out, what was the story after this?
So once DS3 came out, I did try it. I actually got it on release. I did play it. I played through the game. Yeah, I did play through the game. I did 2 playthroughs. I did try the PvP, and I don't know. I just didn't really care for it. I'm not gonna lie. And I think that was partially doing what people before, what other people have done, what other people did to Bloodborne, I did to DS3, because Bloodborne was my first Souls, where they kind of expected maybe it to be more similar to it, if that makes sense, which was, that's not a wise thing to do.
Okay, so you expected
where like
DS3
people
to
brought
be more like Bloodborne.
Perhaps, yes. Like, people went into Bloodborne thinking, like, it'd be more like Dark Souls, I guess I kind of went into it like that, not thinking it'd be like it. I knew it was going to be different, but there's just some of the mechanics that I found a lot more annoying, that instead of, like, adapting to those mechanics, I just was like, wow, these mechanics are bad, and just kind of wrote it off, I guess.
But it's a bit of
which is what people did the Bloodborne as well. Like, healing is like Demon Souls grass, which no, it's not. And I did the same. I did something similar to DS3, was like just how certain mechanics work in that game.
Just to expand a little bit on that, I do agree that they went a step backward, because when you look at the depth, I think, in my opinion, Bloodborne PvP has the more depth into weapon system, like with the variety of weapon, how every weapon is different from one another, the variety of combos you can do that are hidden. There are hidden combos, they're not just R1 combos, the transforming attack. There is so much, and they went back into a very dilute down. I guess I don't know if that's the good word.
Diluted.
Diluted down.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Move set and you know, making like 4, 5, 7 straight sword with the same move set.
Mm-hmm.
And are those the kind of mechanic that really turn you off from DS3 PvP?
The main one was actually, you mentioned it. The main one that it was annoying, and it sounds silly to say this, but I was used to like how Bloodborne handled hit stun, right?
What do you mean how Bloodborne?
The hits.
The one hit.
Okay,
instant?
so yes, you know, there's hidden combos like you said in Bloodborne. You have to, you know, it's not like every R1 combos into another R1,
Yes.
right? Like in Dark Souls 3, like in a lot of cases Dark Souls 2 as well, but Bloodborne, like there's set combos, but it's not like Saw Cleaver R1 doesn't combo into another Saw Cleaver R1. That's not a combo, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's not like, you know, straight sword R1 in DS3. Like I found that kind of mechanic kind of annoying, really annoying, and I don't know. And also
The
I mean,
healing,
that was one of the main ones.
unpunishable healing, I guess.
No, that didn't bother me too much. I don't know why, but I guess because I was doing like you know, trying invasions and stuff like that mostly. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of how they handled combos. It also felt like aggressing at the time. I mean, I was, you know, I never got decent at that game, you know, so I can't have such a huge opinion on it. Just from what I didn't like about it was how they handled combos, and another one was it just felt like being aggressive got you just like smacked most of the time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's not like Bloodborne where you
definitely.
can dash in and slash something. Like Bloodborne, you can dash in and slash somebody. You know, you can. You know, it rewards you for aggressing a lot of times. Where DS3 didn't really feel like that, and
Now you
know,
can
that's
parry spam
partly-
the whole day and get rewarded from it. In DS3. Is that what you mean by being
I don't know.
punished for
I just
being aggressive?
wasn't yeah, like I don't know. You'd go if you know you couldn't like just dash in because there's no, you know, there's rolling attacks, but it's not the same. They're just different games, and
Yep.
I guess, as I said, that's my own fault for, you know, putting like some
Expectation.
putting that mindset onto that game. You know, I respect all the people that are really good at it. Like, so I don't hate DS3. I do like it. I'm bad at it, and it's because I never really cared for the multiplayer in it. So I just kind of stuck with Bloodborne PvP
So
mostly.
you stuck with that. That's the fascinating story, is that you stuck with Bloodborne, with most of the people, you know, transitioning from Bloodborne PvP to DS3.
Yeah.
You stick to it, like, you know. Can you tell me about that moment?
I mean, I played DS3 for a while, so it wasn't like I just played like a couple like invasions. Like, wow, this is bad. I'm never playing again. It was. I played it for a little while, and I wasn't a fan of like how it was set up. So how the mechanics were implemented, and it's funny because I say that, and there's plenty of people that would say the same about Bloodborne, but that was just to me, my personal preferences. I just didn't care for like how DS3 was done, multiplayer wise. So.
And then you
I just chose to just go back, play Bloodborne PvP.
So in Bloodborne PvP, what's the like how do you have like a group of friends that you always play with? Do you do a lot of invasion? You know, how is the community structured around Bloodborne PvP? Because for example, in the DS3 meet, that's the game I played the most. I just do like invasions. I just invade in Ring City or in Pontiff, because that's the most area where you will find people. How does that work in Bloodborne? Because you cannot be invaded before level 30 or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Anytime before 30. So I mostly do duels because that's just the easiest way to do PvP in that game, and that's what most people PvPing in Bloodborne are doing. You can get low level invasions. I've done those, but I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of low level invasions just because it's usually just bullying in
Yeah,
Bloodborne. Like,
definitely, especially if you're gemmed out and
yeah. It's there's no weapon restrictions in Bloodborne, like or gem restrictions, so it's it's just the Wild West for low level. So if you don't have gemmed +10 gemmed out weapons, you might run into people that have those things, and if that's a problem if you do, because they're just gonna just
you're just gonna
that's when you
die.
actually do get that's when you actually do get two shot, or can. But even then, it's pretty rare that you will. But like if you're just trying to just invade with story gems and like non-full upgraded weapons, that can be really rough if you run into somebody who is. You're probably not going to win that at all. So,
Yep, yeah, I
um,
did face a few invader during my playthrough because I did it with the sinister run. I was getting shit
mhm,
on. Like I did so few damage to them, and they did so much damage to me. It was not even funny.
yeah, yep. So
So
yeah, I
you do
mean,
duels, yeah, that's what you were saying.
yeah. So level 120 is the meta, and you'll if you want random duels, you go to Frontier or Murgos. Murgos is kind of dead these days, but Frontier you pretty much can always find some randoms there playing,
So
and
Nightmare
sometimes you'll run into
Frontier, for
like
those who don't really
yeah,
know.
Nightmare
Yeah.
Frontier. Yeah, Nightmare Frontier. That's pretty much where everybody is these days for random PvP. So you'll run into people that are really bad. It ranges. Like you'll run into people that are actually quite good, but it's mostly Frontier for wild duels. It's a pretty crappy dueling area, but that's just where
Yeah,
everybody
there's
is,
like a
so that's
bunch
where
of
everybody goes.
stones and the terrain is
Yeah,
very
it's
uneven.
pretty bad. Murgos is better technically, but yeah, but for terrain, terrain wise, because it's all flat
Yeah.
ground. But I don't know. Everybody's in Frontier, so that's where everybody goes. So if that's where everybody goes for random duels. I mean, you'll get invasions there too, but um, that's pretty much what everybody does.
And I saw also
And
that
then
you're very often dueling into the Chalice dungeon. How does that work? Like, let's say I'm a guy who's into Bloodborne PvP. I want to start. I have my build ready. We can talk a little bit about builds a bit later. But like, how do I find
mhm.
a good people? If I want to get good, I don't want to stomp on noobs that are just trying to kill
Right.
Murgo.
All right. So yeah, so that runs into where else you can find PvP. A lot of Bloodborne PvP now, like you're either going the Frontier, maybe Murgos, or there's somebody streaming on Twitch, doing like a fight club
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. And people do various locations. Sometimes it's a dungeon, a chalice dungeon, or sometimes it'll be some area in the main game. Like they'll sometimes do Central Yarnum or like Ludwig's Arena, his boss room, because you can do
Oh, you
boss room
can do in the
PvP.
boss room. That's cool.
Yep, yep. So that's one thing as well.
Well, that's
But yeah,
awesome.
so those are yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, a lot of duels are either if it's wild PvP, it's Frontier or Murgos, or it's somebody's probably doing a Twitch fight club, like streaming it, like me or Rare Pack. Trying to think, and there's some other people too, but those are the main ones everybody goes to for
All
that.
right,
So
and you hosted a tournament what, a week ago? Was it last week? Last
yeah,
Saturday? And
yep, that's correct.
so what do you think about the tournament? How did that play? Was the fight interesting? Was there a big build variety? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, it was a hybrid build tournament. So that means no so hybrid is in like
Skill and
uh
strength, or arcane and,
yeah.
and
So that
strength?
that would cover strength tinge, skill tinge, arc tinge, skill arc, strength
Okay,
arc.
so no
Those are all
quality.
hybrid builds. No quality, no Vic gouge builds.
Is it because
No
there's a problem with
no rider
quality?
shield. No, it's just for the theme of
Okay.
the tournament. For the theme, it's just hybrid builds. If it was a regular tournament, there'd be no build restriction at all. I've done those too, of course, but it was just so you see different builds and stuff. Because if it was just any, I don't know. That was just the whole theme of that tournament
Mm-hmm.
was to get people to bring hybrid builds and to see what they would bring and just a set theme to make it a bit more fun for viewers to watch. So.
Okay, was there a lot of did everyone had the same skill arcane build, or was there like a bunch of different builds?
Um, there was quite a few strength tinge because that's kind of the best one. Because of heavy, you get heavy weapons, which are like a bit, for a pure stat. You generally just get better weapons. You get like a 644 AR, like saw cleaver and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
whirligig, etc. But there was a decent variety. There was quite a few strength tinges. There was one skill tinge. There was two skill arcs, and I believe there was only one arc tinge.
Damn, so no one
So
used
yeah.
my favorite weapon, the Moonlight Sword. Is that even good in PvP?
Oh, the Moonlight Sword. Well, it's good, but not in the way you think it. It's good, not in the way you think it's good,
What do
though.
you mean?
Um, I'll explain.
You're hurting my
The
feelings.
Holy
I'm gonna
Moonlight
cry.
Sword. So when people think of the Holy Moonlight Sword and they're not in the Bloodborne PvP community, they think, "Oh, cool sword that shoots beams."
Yep, exactly.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, that's not how it's used in Bloodborne PvP. Most of the time, it's usually the Claymore form that's used because that's just the best form. Like that's just the most efficient.
With the poking
The
R2?
Claymore, the R2, the R1s are great too. Just the neutral. It's very yeah, it's
I'm so sad
it's
now.
pretty nasty weapon. Yeah, it can be pretty brutal. It's really it's like Dark Souls 1 Claymore on steroids. So it's
Yeah,
it's a great weapon.
because when I was asking
Um,
for build recommendation for using the Moonlight, everybody was telling me like go 50 strength. And I was like, wait, what about the beam? What about the arcane? Like I want to shoot beam at people.
yeah.
They were like, nah, they're not that good.
Yeah, nourishing HMS can still hit hard. The beams can still do decent damage, especially if you hit sword and beam. Like you can nuke somebody with that. But the most effective, way to go for that weapon is just one hand HMS with like I have, on a high quality like 5038 or 5040 strength skill
Mm-hmm.
and just use the one hand mode with you can either do heavy abyssal gem and like 227s, so just like a heavy HMS, or you can do all blunt gems because apparently all the R1s are blunt. So yeah, so that's 32% blunt
Ah, okay,
gems
so
that
it's
you can
not
put on
as
that.
even the R1
Yeah.
on one-headed form, right?
Actually, pretty much
Both.
every move that is not a thrust move is blunt on the
Okay.
HMS, even in two hand.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much the best way to use that weapon.
No moonlight during the tournament. So what was the
Yeah, I
person
didn't
who
see
won
any. I don't remember.
used?
Yeah, I think somebody did use one hand HMS, but yeah, I don't recall seeing anybody using two hand Holy Moonlight Sword in that tournament at all, which it's not surprising because because I've done two of these hybrid build tournaments, and the last one had weapon restrictions as well, so there was no saw spear, no saw cleaver, safe or rider.
Mm-hmm.
This hybrid tournament though had no weapon restrictions this time, so saws and
Whatever,
rider.
whatever you want to
Yeah,
use.
all the weapons were fair game. There was no weapon bans in this current one that I did. So
And the person who won the tournament, do you think he won because he has the best build or because he played the best, or a mix of both?
um,
And what was
I
he
mean,
using also?
he was using skill tinge.
Skill tinge.
So skill tinge is still good because it has rider plosh and has Rakuyo as well and
Yeah,
Evelyn.
Rakuyo.
It's good. It's a good build. I wouldn't say it's better than strength tinge, but it's definitely a pretty good build. But no, he played really well. He played he just pretty much outplayed the people he was fighting. Um, yeah, it wasn't like, oh, his build was just better. There's definitely more than that,
Okay,
because
that's
technically
cool.
Strength Tinge is technically better, but I wouldn't say like, it's not like, oh, the Skill Tinge can't win because, oh, he's using a Strength Tinge.
Yeah,
No,
which is awesome. That's what you want in a game for it
yeah,
to be fun and fair and balanced. You
yeah,
want
yeah, yeah,
many different answers to many different
yeah. I
proposal.
mean, yeah, the Strength Tinge has more options with like its heavy weapons and such. You have a heavy cleaver, but the Skill Tinge has its own strong weapons too, like the Rider Plosh and the Rakuyo, one hand bow blade, and such. So
And yourself, are you not interested into competing anymore? Like, because you were hosting the tournament, and I saw 4 months ago you did also another tournament that you were hosting. So are
yeah.
you just, you have nothing to prove? You're like the master of the Boreal Blade, and you're just like, no, I'm watching you guys, try to come to my level, and we'll see
Um.
later.
Well, I did participate in a tournament. When was that last year? I think it was early last year, and I won that. But it's not about. I would join tournaments. The problem is
No one is
I
doing them
don't.
if you don't do it.
Nobody is really hosting them. Exactly. I would join more tournaments if there was people hosting them. There are Kay was hosting them for a while, but he did the US one and EU one, and then he was gonna do a arcane tournament, but that got canceled. I would have joined
Because
that
of
one,
COVID.
but no, it was just he lost interest in the game,
Okay,
and
okay.
then I was supposed to host it, and then I canceled it because there's some participant issues we had with it. But I would participate in tournaments if more tournaments if there's people hosting them.
Mm-hmm.
The other issue comes in as well is not anybody can just host a tournament
Yeah,
either.
it looks complicated. I
You have
saw
to,
the summoning mechanic was
yeah,
also a bit sketchy. You
yeah,
have
it
the
can
winner
be sometimes.
bracket, the
Yep,
loser bracket. Those are a bit
yep.
complicated.
The summoning system complicates things. That's one thing, and then it's just you want somebody that really knows a lot about the game to be like hosting it,
Mm-hmm.
like so they know what they're talking about, and they can deal with the summoning issues if there are, they know what to do to try and like alleviate maybe some of the issues you're having. And I don't know, I don't trust too many people to host these kind of things just because I don't know. Just as I said, I want some. If somebody's gonna host something like this, I'd rather it be somebody that like knows quite a lot about the game. I'm not saying that I'm not saying there's not enough people that don't know about the game because there's like a whole community around this, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that have the right tools to also do it. Like
And we'll do it also. Some people just want
yeah,
to play, have
exactly,
fun.
yeah,
They don't want to bother organizing everything, making
yeah,
sure everybody comes, streaming the
yeah,
thing, commenting,
exactly,
taking
yes,
notes on who wins, who lose, etc., etc. No,
yep,
definitely, it's not the
exactly,
same. It's not the same.
yep.
And a last question about Bloodborne before we switch onto the big thing, which is Elden Ring coming out very soon, is that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's say if a random guy wants to start Bloodborne PvP, what does he have to do? What does he have to watch? Which video does he have to watch, etc. And he wants to get to meta level, 120. Like, what's the steps? Because there's also the whole farming of the gem, etc. So
Mm-hmm.
a quick summary about what someone needs to do.
All right, so first, obviously, you want to know what you're going for, what weapons you want to use, and you want to pick the right starting class. You don't want to start making a build and then find out, oh wow, if
I lost 10
that kind of
points
sucks.
because I don't have the good starting
Exactly.
class.
Yep. Exactly. Or you choose something that is just you could have chose a starting class that would have saved you more points, etc. So you want to pick the right starting class, and then you want to know what weapons you want to use so you can upgrade the right weapons. There's some great places to join, like Discord wise, for resources. There's the Tomb Prospectors,
Tomb
really
Prospector,
really
that's a
great place.
Discord?
Yes, Tomb
Okay.
Prospectors. Yep, that is a Bloodborne Discord server. They specialize in Chalice dungeons and such.
So they know
But
where
they
to
have
find the
a
best
lot
gems
of
and stuff like that.
exactly. Yep.
Okay, okay.
They have a lot of that information. Easily, readily available. You can ask people there, and it's pretty big. It's pretty good sized Discord. A lot of active people, a lot of people that really love the game still. Great place. Try hard safe space.
That's your
Bloodborne
server,
PvP
right?
server.
Yeah.
Not my server. K owns it. I am in there a lot. I am like I do help with a lot of stuff in there, but I don't own it. K owns it. I used to own a PvP server, but that's a long discussion, which I'd rather not get into.
All right, all right, all
But
right.
that doesn't exist anymore. So K owns
Rip.
it. I help him with with it occasionally. But that's a great place if you want to like get pretty good. If you want to get tips from like people that are like really good, like the best players in the game. Great place to go. I'm
So
in there, Kay's in there.
Prospector, then the Tryhard safe space.
Yeah, Tomb Prospectors for a lot of the dungeon information, gems. I mean, you can get that information in Tryhard safe space as well, because there's a lot of people in there. Like, obviously, they've all made builds, so they know where to get all this stuff. But I recommend Tomb Prospectors because they're more oriented around that stuff. Around gem farming, exploring dungeons, etc. And they also have like so many docs and commands for where to farm these gems. Like you can just type exclamation point, insert gem, and it'll bring up a whole and it'll bring up like a whole like sheet of like where you can farm them and stuff. So great place, knowledgeable people there. And as I said, Tryhard Safe Space is great for getting tips from like the best players that are currently playing.
Yeah, what about YouTube videos? Is there any like YouTube channel you would recommend? There's yours, obviously.
Yeah, there's mine. On my best builds video, I have a true combo showcase video.
Yep, this is
well.
very interesting. Very, very nice.
Yep.
All the true combo you can do with like the setup and like timing the different attacks.
I do have 2 tech showcases as well, like of some glitches that are in the game that you can use.
Yeah,
in
the
PvP.
tech book.
Yeah. I do have one more informational video I'm working on that I hope will be out soon, but it's like a how-to burial blade video.
Okay,
hopefully that'll be
it's
done
your
soon.
main weapon, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. Yep, I mainly use that, and sometimes saw cleaver. And people tend to remember just the saw cleaver, but that's okay.
Yes, I think they know how to do it.
But anyhow, another great place video to check. Dang It JM has some great videos. Yeah, Dang It JM. Yeah, he made some great videos where on gem farming and where to get some gems. He also made a guide on the edited dungeons that make it easier to go through the dungeons, and you can even like skip some dungeons. So that that makes it some of this build making a lot easier.
Yeah, it can be super discouraging when you have to farm the dungeon one by one.
Yeah, it's a lot easier these days. Like you can skip over dungeons. You can also get some items or like some variants of weapons early without having to make like XYZ dungeon. You can just use a false depth dungeon, which allows you to get top tier runes and uncanny or lost versions of weapons. So that's really useful and makes it a lot easier. So you can upgrade the right weapon earlier instead of upgrading a weapon just to get through the game and then like you wasted your materials on that weapon, kind of, because you're not going to use it anymore after that. So
because the gems, for the people who don't really know what we're talking about, those are like quote unquote items that you're inserting into your weapon to make more damage, right? Is that an easy way to explain?
Think of it as they're all, I don't want to say infusions, but they're kind of like those type of like they're kind of like those, you slot them into your weapon. But you need 3 of them, and you have to farm them, and there's some RNG involved when you farm a boss. So that
Yeah.
can get a little frustrating depending on what build you're making too, because some gems are more annoying to get than others. And that's something that kind of held Bloodborne PvP back a little bit. Was the barrier to entry was a bit rough with that kind of stuff, with the gem farming and.
Are fights without gems a thing? Because that's what I saw when I saw the tournament. I thought, oh, maybe if they don't use gems or very, weak gems, the fight will be longer or whatever.
No. Nobody. I mean, there was a gemless level 70 Fight Club a long time ago, but honestly, the way to play this game is with gems, upgraded weapons, and just if you have a proper build, you're not going to get two-shot unless it's like very, very specific attacks. You're not going to get two-shot. Like that's a myth, straight up myth. If you have the proper runes, that's also important. You need like 2 HP runes at least. And a defense rune is really good.
Yeah,
to have
that's what
too,
you were saying in your guide, like
yeah.
the 2 max 15 HP and 10% HP.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's necessary. Yeah, if you have a proper build, that you're not. It's outside of certain situations, you're not just going to get two-shot by a weapon. Like that's not how that works. But yeah, Dang It JM's videos on the Chalice dungeons, and I believe he has a video on a beginner's build as well. That's pretty good video.
A very, very, very famous. I think he has 1 million views on that. Or something.
Yep. There's some other informational videos done by the actual Bloodborne PvP community as well. Like FNC has some, Hallowak has some, and K has some as well. And then me, of course. So
go ahead.
Tryhard Safe Space is good if you want tips and stuff from people that are like the best players in the game. We have FNC in there, Hella, me, K, and we have plenty of other players in there that are plenty good to get information from. So.
I think
it's a good place for that.
It will be nice when you're doing your video on the Warrior Blade, because there is definitely quote unquote a market, people that are interested into learning about that. For example, I wanted to learn how to make a good Moonlight Greatsword build. Well, and I heard that it's impossible because it sucks. But I know. Yeah,
it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's just the way people think it would be effective is not as effective as they think it would be. It's still like it's usable. It's just it's outclassed by a lot of weapons and.
It was a bit of a silly joke, but my point was that I was kidding. The point was that I didn't find any video that went in depth about how to use the Moonlight Sword, what are the movesets, which level should I do, how to spec my character, where should I find the gems, and I do believe many people would be interested in that. So yeah, I think that's definitely something to do. All right, cool. Thanks for answering this question. Let me take just a little break. So let's go on to the quote-unquote last topic about this podcast. We're almost at it. It's been almost an hour. So thank you so much, Scorch, for staying with me that long.
Problem.
And yeah, the big thing is Elden Ring is releasing in a bit less than a month from now. What are your thoughts? Are you excited? Are you gonna quit Bloodborne for Elden Ring? Are you gonna make videos about it? You did already made a few. Like, what did you play the network test? Do you have any expectation? Like, tell me.
Okay, so first, I'm very excited. Oh, excuse me. I am very excited for Elden Ring. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while, and then the more I've seen of it, I've gotten more interested and hyped for it. Yeah, I'm ready, man. I love Bloodborne. It's one of my favorite games, but my God, I am ready to not play that game, like forever. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but I'm ready to not touch that game for like until they're about to shut the servers down or something. Like, I'm definitely ready for Elden Ring to come out. I do plan on streaming it and making videos as well.
On your twitch.tv/Night Scorch, I think it is.
Scorched Knight.
Scorched Knight.
It's Scorched _Knight, yeah. So but yeah, I'll stream it on Twitch, and I'll definitely make some YouTube videos on it and stuff. It's at some point. I'm probably at first, unless I find something like really neat or something. I'll probably just play it. Just play it for a while and experience it and such.
So what are you excited about? Because we had a little discussion, you and me, via tweet, I think it was, when I put out the fact that actually Elden Ring PvP is looking to be much, much more similar to Bloodborne PvP than Dark Souls 3, with the absence, with the fact that there are no one hit, two hit guaranteed combo that are R1 R1. I think there will be hidden combo like in Bloodborne. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about the combat so far? Did you try the network test?
Yeah, I played the network test. I played the network. I got to play all of them because I was actually sick with the virus at the time. So I managed to play all of them, and I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to how things will turn out. And yes, regarding the combo, I was really surprised to not see Dark Souls 3 and 2 style combos in Elden Ring, because I thought I don't know, I just had a feeling that that's what it would be, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that was not the case. Now, a lot of people disagree with me on that. Like,
why?
If you're talking
why were you happy, and why people are disagreeing?
Because I prefer that system. I like the hidden combo system rather than straight sword R1 equal another free R1 basically. I don't like that combo system DS3 has, let me put it that way. Whereas people who play DS3 might be inclined to like that combo system. It's just a preference thing. There's nothing wrong with liking that. There's nothing wrong with liking it the way I like it. It's just the way I like it. I like how Bloodborne did combos, personally. I've heard some of the people that are really good at DS3 talk about that, and some of them didn't sound too pleased that they're going that route. But for me personally, I was really happy to see that that style of combo is not present in Elden Ring. So, I was pleased with that. Overall impressions of the network test, pretty positive. The only thing I didn't like, let's see, there's something DS3 did that I did like, and that was removal of, not removal, but the, they have hit stun reset. Like, you don't just get blendered, like infinite comboed from full HP if a bunch of people are swinging at you at the same time. Unfortunately, that is something that does happen in Bloodborne.
It does happen.
It's almost like it does happen in Bloodborne. If there's multiple people swinging at you, and they're all they're landing their hits, you can get infinite true comboed by two people.
The same in Elden Ring so far.
It's almost as if they literally took. Yeah, so it was looking like to me as they literally took Bloodborne's like style of like hit stun system, and that's what they're using for Elden Ring. I don't know. So it's very much like Elden Ring. It's interesting because it seems like it has Dark Souls 1 style poise, and then it has DS2 power stance. It has Bloodborne style hit stun, mm-hmm. and R1 chains. Because like it's not like the two R1s over and over again. Yep. It's there's like a chain to it. And then it has like DS3 like style weapon arts, and it does look very DS3-esque, but I think we'll come to find out, just like all the other games, they all play different.
Yeah, and we'll find new stuff also as we play. Yeah. So far, we haven't seen too much. I don't know if you. Go ahead.
That was the other thing too. Is I don't think it'll be a 1-for-1 kind of thing where like, oh, it's just going to be just like XYZ game. It's going to be just like Dark Souls 1, or it's going to be just like Dark Souls 2 or 3 or Bloodborne. I think it's going to be very much its own thing, familiar but different. It's going to be its own game. Definitely. Just like all the games before it.
It's gonna be beautiful. Me, I cannot wait, man. I'm counting the days. I'm dreaming about it. I'm talking about it to my girlfriend, to everyone. I'm
Yeah,
asking
I'm
to
pretty
my
excited
friends. I'm
for it.
like, my parkour training friends. I'm like, oh, are you gonna play Elden Ring? It's like, oh, you should play, because they're all playing like Fortnite or League of Legends, like the very popular game. I'm like, no, you should really try this game that's gonna come out. Like, really, like for real, like try it.
Yeah. It's gonna be nice playing. I don't know, just the PVE alone. I'm excited. Doing, playing through the game alone. I'm excited for, and also, people think Dark Souls 3 is stagnant. Well, Bloodborne's very stagnant. Like Bloodborne is, player base wise, it's stagnant. Like it's there's more. Like people think, oh, it's like 3 people playing. No, Bloodborne has a lot more people playing than people think, but it is, it's definitely smaller than Dark Souls 3. Of course it is. It's much smaller. It's an exclusive that has a high, a fairly higher barrier to entry.
Yeah, I think that's the main problem they did with Bloodborne.
That's the main problem. It is, yeah.
Because the PvP is fun. Like it's super fun.
Yeah, it's great.
It's very rich and skillful, but it's so difficult to find invasion.
I mean, it has its problems. For sure, like there's imbalances, but that's like all the other games.
Every game.
Exactly, that's just like all the other Souls games. They all have their own imbalance issues. But I think the biggest things that messed up Bloodborne, the perception of the PvP for that game, for Bloodborne was a mix of the high barrier to entry and a lot of misinformation. There's so much misinformation on Bloodborne out there that was kind of done early on by like larger creators that kind of came into it expecting like Dark Souls PvP basically.
And everybody took their word as gospel and they didn't even try too much.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's other things too, like the netcode for Bloodborne is not great, but neither is any of the games. None of the games have the netcode. Like, but people, it's weird. Like with Bloodborne, people will always like the way they go about blaming the netcode is kind of funny. Like they'll fight it'll be someone from, let's say, US, and they'll fight somebody in Australia, and they're like, "Oh, the netcode." It's like, no, you just fought somebody from Australia, dude. Like, of course it's gonna be bad.
The same. Like if you fight a Asian player and you're in Europe, it's gonna be terrible. In any game, not just Dark Souls or whatever.
I don't know. I see it a lot. It's weird. Like I see that a lot with Bloodborne though. Like people just automatically blame the netcode, and yes, the netcode is not good. I 100% agree with that. But it's not like it's not the boogeyman you can blame everything on either.
Of course.
But yeah, Elden Ring, I'm really excited for. It's gonna be great to meet a lot of new people. New game, new stuff to discover.
Did you watch some of the thing that Game Informer released?
No, I have not watched that yet.
Don't watch it.
I might not watch it. I don't think I'm going to watch it. Yeah.
Because I started to do like a stream reaction, about their they streamed their playthrough or whatever. Was it yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago? And and he started to say, oh yeah, so basically there is all these classes and then there are that many NPCs and I found a secret path in this direction, and I stopped the stream. I said, no, I can't. I just cannot like get spoiled everything. And they showed like a little bit of the game, and there's like a surprise attack from a monster. It's like, I want to go into the game and I want to get surprised by this attack. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, sure, this guy is gonna attack me, but I knew. Because that's a big mistake I did when I went to Bloodborne. When I went into Bloodborne, I was watching PvP Skills doing a playthrough, because he has started to do a playthrough about Bloodborne PvP, and he was doing an arcane build, and I got spoiled so much. Like I got spoiled from Vicar Emilia, like many different moment. I got spoiled from what's probably the best moment in Bloodborne in my opinion, which is when you jump into the Moon Lake and then you see Rom and Rom doesn't attack you. I think that's the moment when I fell in love with Bloodborne. Is you have this moment and then you're like, what is going on? What is this place? What is this game about? And then you kill Rom and there's like a big weird spider and you're like, what the fuck? I played Bloodborne during the New Year Eve. I was by myself at my house. I was just like, this is the best New Year of my life. And I want Elden Ring to be like that. You know, I want to get in and to be impressed by all the little hidden mechanic and detail. And talking about like PvP and hidden mechanic, I don't know if you saw, there's a video came out I think like a few days ago, maybe it was today, of a guy that has the he has a cracked PS4 and he plays the network test on his PS4, and he found that there is a mechanic called feint. So basically, if you charge an R2 and you press circle on certain weapon, it does an animation. For example, on curved sword, it does the backflip animation. You know how in Dark Souls 3 you could do like a backflip with your curved sword if you pressed forward and R1 quickly, but here it works with like you charge R2 and then you press circle and then it does that flipping motion. It can do at any moment during a combo. So there's probably many other weapons that have hidden mechanics like that, and I think the game is gonna get much more rich the more we play it. And I wish we were like the 28th right now, but sadly we're not. 25th.
It'll 25th, yeah. It'll be here soon. It's not too far away now, so in the meantime I'll keep streaming Bloodborne, and I'll be playing some other games too, but I'll just keep going about, my usual business with work and, real life stuff, and then streaming Bloodborne here and there. So, I don't know. It'll be fun. So, yeah, not too much time left now.
Nope. No. It's gonna
really
get
exciting.
quick. It's gonna get quick.
Yeah.
Well.
Even before they delay it again. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah. Apparently,
Sorry, guys. March 29th. No.
Imagine. And actually, I have nothing planned during like the 28th to late March. That's perfect for me.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say work is gonna get a lot harder for me because it's like, bro, I'd rather be home playing Elden Ring, but that's all right.
So you're gonna be like nightless with no sleep.
Yeah, maybe.
That's good. What's gonna happen?
I know I'll be streaming a lot more for sure, because with Bloodborne, like I stream it like once or twice a week. It's just because I'm just kind of, I still love the game, but I'm pretty burnt out as well, like of playing it. So I keep playing it because I like streaming, and that's what people show up for when I stream is Bloodborne. So
yeah, if you start to stream Pokemon, no one will show up, right?
yeah, that's a good that's a good example. I'll stream other stuff sometimes too, though. But yeah, I'll be probably streaming more once Elden Ring comes out as well.
It's Scorched Knight _Night Twitch.tv.
Yeah. Yep.
And do you have a scheduled stream while we wait for Elden Ring? Like, do you stream every Monday or every Tuesday or something like that? Or is it just when you have time?
So every Tuesday I stream at 6 p.m. EST. And then every Friday I stream at, it's 5:30 or 6 p.m. EST, depending, because I usually have Fridays off, so it's usually Tuesdays and Fridays at like around 6 p.m. EST. And occasionally I'll have some random streams I decide to do, but that's usually about it. Like that's the schedule I have for if I streaming.
Okay, so Friday you said, and Tuesday, or did I?
Yep. Tuesdays and Fridays.
Friday. Okay, that's awesome. Well, I think we went over every question I had and all the detail I wanted to talk about, whether it's Bloodborne, introducing yourself, history as a gamer, from software game, etc. Elden Ring, and do you have any expectation into gaming going into 2022, like besides Elden Ring, or is there anything else that excites you?
I mean, I've been playing Halo Infinite.
Okay.
So I've actually started playing Halo again. I haven't played it that much recently, but I was playing it for a bit. Other than that, though, it's mostly just Elden Ring that I'm looking forward to game-wise. There is Scorn. There's Scorn as well. I'm interested in that game as well, Scorn. it's a first-person like exploration slash horror kind of game. It looks pretty interesting, but other than Elden Ring and Scorn, I guess, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not like there's no new games coming up really, other than those two that I'm really thinking about too much.
All right, cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking this time and talking with me. I'll leave a link to everything you mentioned. So if you could just give us your Twitter and Twitch again, so that everybody has it correctly.
Sure, yeah. So it's Scorched_Knight on Twitch TV, and for Twitter it is the name I have is Scorched Knight, but like the @ is Night Scorched. So
Okay, yeah, that's what I confused.
it's just backwards, yeah.
That's why I said to your
So,
Twitch
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
Night
you
Scorch, but
you
it's
just
not.
mixed them up. Yeah.
All good.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much again, and yeah. If you guys have any question about Bloodborne PvP related, or if you want to see some Elden Ring when the game comes out, and if you want to see some Bloodborne PvP every Tuesday and Friday, you can follow Scorched Knight. So thanks again. You said your real name was Evan?
Evan, yep, that's
Evan.
correct. Yeah, that's
Okay,
my real name.
super
Yep.
nice to meet you, Evan.
Nice to meet you as well.
And my
Yeah.
name is Valentine. And yeah,
Nice.
talk to you later. And I'll just cut this recording, then we'll do a proper goodbye. All right.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Have a good one. Take care.